All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6 p.m., so we'll go ahead and get started. This is the City Council Public Hearing Work Session for August the 14th. The clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Brian Mock.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy First.
Here.
Councilmember John Mesa. Here. Councilmember Leslie Robson. Here. Councilmember Paul Stovall.
Here.
Councilmember Elmer Vythe.
Present.
Thank you. All right, if somebody would approve the agenda for me?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add an item.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to amend the agenda to add an item. What item would you like to add, sir?
We need to add a resolution to consider the appointment of an interim elections superintendent.
This is adding an item to allow for for an interim election superintendent. Any discussion on this?
That seems pretty easy.
All right. All right, and this will come up under new business, is that correct?
Yes, it will, sir.
Very good, very good.
We do need to vote.
Okay, so we need to approve the agenda, please?
No, we need to vote on my amendment, sir. We have to approve the amendment, and then we can.
Thought we were doing that later, sir.
No, we must first,
All right, is there any?
It wasn't that easy, see?
Yeah,
Told
see,
you all.
It wasn't. All right. So we have a motion, and do we have a second? Did we, that was you? All right, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to add this item. All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, we'll get through this.
and now, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Yeah, that's what he said. I'm just going by what he said. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you, guys. All right, did we have any announcements and presentations this evening? Thank you so much. All right, under the approval of minutes, we have 4 sets of minutes from the work sessions from July the 10th, the 15th, the 18th, and the 19th. Did anyone see anything that needed to be changed on those items or updated? All right, so that will move on. And then we'll go down to new business, and now we'll bring this up again.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution to amend, or I'm sorry, not an amendment, is stuck in my head. This is a resolution to appoint an interim election superintendent in the event that our current elections superintendent has any kind of emergency or situation that would not prevent her from fulfilling her duties as the city's election superintendent. So we are requesting that you adopt a resolution tonight to appoint Naomi Brown as interim election superintendent.
Very good. So we'll need a motion on that item.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution appointing Naomi Brown as the interim election superintendent, pending the absence of their current election superintendent, Sharon Bowie.
Second.
A motion and a second on this item. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. All right, that'll take us down to the text amendment to the UDO for smoke and vape shops.
We're going to have Naomi Brown come up and, oh, I'm sorry, this is smoke shops. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
skipped
get this,
ahead.
guys. We got this. We got this.
I apologize, that was on me. So this is a text amendment to the UDO. We will actually have a public hearing on this in the September meeting. But this, if you guys feel comfortable moving this forward to first read, you may do so for Tuesday. But this is a text amendment to the UDO to update the definition of a tobacco and vape shop. We are adding vape to the definition of the UDO. And then there's also some additional language that qualifies what paraphernalia is for tobacco products and vape products. In addition to that, there's also the introduction of distance requirements for tobacco and vape shops within schools, county and city parks and recreation facilities, libraries, and there's a few others here, MARTA station, children learning facilities, so daycares as well. Both public and private schools are added to that list. And then there's an additional amendment that specifies the hours of operation that's permitted for those shops.
Very good. Questions from council?
So I was just curious, sometimes, especially like a daycare center or something would move into an area that may be existing, would I assume that the vape shop was already in place, that would be grandfathered in?
Correct.
Okay.
And one other thing that I wanted to mention is on the smoke and vape shop change. So in addition to the hours of operation as well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my notes here on this. I lost my thought on that. I'm sorry. Yes, drive-throughs and walk-up services would be not permitted. But yes, it would grandfather in. Oh, and the other piece to that was the definition that's being changed in the code. Currently, the definition for a smoke or tobacco and vape shop is 90% of products have to be for the sale of tobacco or vape products. We are reducing that down to 50% of the products available in that store to qualify them as a smoke and vape shop. So they would have to sell less of those products and still qualify, and that's in alignment with the state definition.
Did that answer your question, sir?
Well, it did answer my question, but then she brought up other one that kind of confused me for a second about the percentage of sales. That was new, but I think I got it, and I'll ask before Tuesday.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All right, that'll take us down to the alcohol ordinance amendment.
Now Naomi's coming up.
I am Naomi Brown. I am the Licensing and Revenue Officer, and I will be presenting the alcohol ordinance amendment to you guys. Staff is requesting, I'm sorry. Please note that the agenda item cover sheet in your packets references an amendment to section 6-3 that's actually not included in this ordinance. My apologies. The ordinance that is in your packet is correct. And I will send a updated cover sheet to be prepared for the Tuesday night council meeting. Okay. All right. So we are proposing an amendment to the alcohol ordinance to allow a license type for complimentary beer or wine establishment licenses. And this would only be permissible to establishments that qualify under the term of grooming service establishment. And those services must be provided by individuals that are licensed by the Georgia State Board of Cosmetology and Barbers. This amendment this license type would also allow the license holders to serve one type of alcohol, either beer or wine, in limited quantities to their patrons that are receiving services that are 21 years of age or older. And the beer would be limited, if I can go to the next slide. All employees that will be serving the beverages will be required to obtain the work permits, handling permits from the Chamblee Police Department. And let's see here, they will only be permitted to consume up to 12 fluid ounces of beer or 6 fluid ounces of wine within a 24-hour period. And the hours of operation for Monday through Friday would be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if I can go to the next, okay, yep, that's all. Can I entertain any questions on this ordinance proposal?
I have a question. So all employees serving alcoholic beverages, do we have age to them?
I believe so. I believe that the age requirement is 18, but I will need to check on that. Yeah.
That's state law.
It's the same as our existing handling permit, correct?
Okay.
They have to obtain our existing handling permit for this as well, okay.
But doesn't it also say they have to have a license for being a groomer or whatever? So I mean, the chances of an 18-year-old having that or did I misinterpret that? I mean, I'm just asking a question. I don't have a whole lot of license holders.
Yes, there has to be a licensed
That's the
barber or Cosmo.
business
No,
license.
the individual has to be a licensed Cosmo or barber, as well as having a Chamblee handling permit.
Oh, so the receptionist can't necessarily.
Right.
Right, okay.
That's how I read it.
It needs to be clear just for
Because-
the enforcement people and the business owners, the operators need to know exactly. It doesn't need to, if it's vague, then it.
What's
this-
going to happen is, number one, hairstylist, or groomer, whatever, I hate the word groomer these days, but anyways, that person is going to be busy, and the receptionist is going to greet the person. I don't think that hairstylists of any shape or form are going to want to leave their client to go give their waiting client a
No,
drink, so.
I believe the intention, and like I said, we'll go back in and check the language, but the intention would be that the establishment, the licensed business establishment has to be a grooming establishment, and the employee that is serving, they don't necessarily have to be a cosmetologist, but the employee that is serving has to have a handler's permit.
There you go, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
okay.
you. So that's different than what we were saying indeed.
I just,
Okay, that's,
because it came up my head, I just wanted it might come up
Yeah,
with somebody
we'll
else's.
double check all of that before Tuesday.
yeah.
Do we contemplate any kind of hard alcohol for this?
No, not according to that. Oh,
I know.
Oh,
Thanks,
oh.
John. And if why didn't we think about that?
I'm sorry,
Hard alcohol, 2-ounce pour, hard alcohol.
why didn't we include it? Because historically, what they serve is usually just wine or beer. It's usually a glass of champagne or a small cup of beer. We didn't want to introduce hard or distilled spirits into the equation.
Okay.
And it probably has another level of state involvement too, does it
Well,
not?
and bear in mind too, this is a complimentary service, and that's pretty cost prohibitive for most businesses to hand out distilled spirits too.
And it's not necessary.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we good? All right. All right, that takes us down to dealers of precious metals and gems ordinance amendment.
I will also be presenting that ordinance
Good to see
amendment.
you again.
Thank you. So this is something that staff and the city attorneys have been working on to satisfy the requirements set by the GBI, FBI, and GCIC in order to conduct the background checks for these for the type of license for dealers of precious metals. We just had to meet the requirements to be able to fingerprint them and obtain the background check results, and also basically the wording updated how the data will be protected.
All right, booting of vehicles on private property. Got this one too?
I will also be presenting this one, and this one is essentially the same thing. We just had to update the wording in our ordinance to meet the requirements set by the GBI and FBI in order to obtain the background check results and maintain the integrity of the data received.
Questions on that? Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Naomi. That'll take us down to staff action items. First up is the 2025 General Obligation Bond Resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually something that we'll have more information on Tuesday. The city is, as you know, we've talked about this several times, but the city, voters in the city approved a $30 million parks, green space, and trails bond through a referendum in November at an amazing 81% approval. We have gone through the process of updating our credit rating. So as you know, the city has been awarded a AA+ rating from S&P and an AA2 rating from Moody's, which makes us incredibly competitive for good financing. It's a great credit rating. So in that process, we have now started the sale element of bidding out and seeking qualified bids for the bonds in the market. And so we will have the results of the bond sale on Tuesday morning to be precise. And so we will be presenting the sale results on Tuesday night. And at that time, you will need to pass a resolution.
Very good. Questions? All right. Next up is the Discover Chambly appointment. Who's got that?
Brittany's got it.
Brittany?
Mayor and council, for the Discover Chambly appointments, we actually have a new hotelier appointment for the Marriott. The previous Marriott appointment actually is no longer there, so we are recommending a new person for that seat.
Thank you, Brittany. We have the renewal of the speed detection permit.
Chief?
Mayor and Council, We are requesting the approval of the speed announcement, the speed detection permit, allowing us to run radar and LiDAR in specific streets within the city. That is up at the end of this year, December 31st, and seeking your approval to have it signed off and sent to the state of Georgia, so we will have approval to continue to do traffic enforcement next year.
Thank you, Chief. Guardrail repair contract award.
Thank you, Mayor. The city conducted an analysis of our guardrails about a year and a half ago. At this time, we were trying to get some bidders to just fix kind of the one or two that are out there. But unfortunately, because of the low volume of work, they weren't willing to go out and fix a couple of ones that have been kind of eyesores. So we went ahead and put together a list of about 4 guardrail replacement projects, bid that out, and so we are recommending that the council consider awarding that bid to Gracie Gray Contractors for an amount not to exceed, and I just clicked away from my presentation here, roughly $270,000. 220, thank you.
All right, questions from council on this item?
No, just the one comment that it takes a significant amount of guardrails need to be fixed for somebody to come out to do this, because we've had people ask us about, hey, how come this guardrail is broken? We got to clump them together to be able to get somebody out to do this, so it takes a little bit of time to build that critical mass, and then we can get somebody out, give them $220,000, and they fix our guardrails.
And I will note, just for the sake of the council, is Governor Kemp has authorized some additional LMAG funds. So we are intending to use that additional allocation. There's no match required, so we'll use that from last year, that was received last year, to pay for that replacement.
All right, any further comments? Very good. On-call planning services contract.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is an agreement with PlanDev Consultants LLC for on-call planning and development assistance. So we are requesting that the council consider that agreement on Tuesday night, just to provide some additional resources. We have some big projects coming down the pike and wanted to make sure that we were staffed up appropriately to assist with those DCIs and larger variance requests because they're so detailed. So this would be anticipated at this point for about 12 weeks with the opportunity to extend that. And so that's up for your consideration.
Very good. Questions from council? No? Good. All right, this will take us down to public hearing reminder items, 2750 Meadowmere East Fence variance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight is not a public hearing. What I'll be doing is giving the staff presentations.
Correct.
And hearings will be next week. So the first one is PZ 225-1478. This is located at 2750 Meadowmere East. And the proposal is to retain a 6-foot-tall wooden privacy fence with minimal transparency. It is located approximately 5 feet from Meadowmere East, which is a private road maintained by the Meadowwood Homeowners Association. There's 2 variance requests. The first is to vary Section 230-6C1A to exceed the height of a street yard fence from 4 to 6 feet. And the second is to vary from Section 236C1B to allow a fence in the street side yard to not be 50% transparent. Staff does recommend approval for both variances with the following condition. The development shall be constructed in substantial conformity with the site plan dated and received by the Planning Department on May 28th, 2025. I can go to the next one.
Carry on.
This is PZ 225-1521, and it is located at 1955 Harts Mill Road. This proposal is to rebuild a partially constructed 6-foot-tall wooden privacy fence with minimal transparency in the street side yard of a detached single-family residential property. The first variance request is 236C1A to exceed the height of a street yard side fence from 4 to 6 feet. And the second variance is to 236C1B to allow a fence in the street side yard to not be 50% transparent. The staff recommends approval of both variances with the following condition. The development shall be constructed in substantial conformity with the site plan dated and received by the Planning and Development Department on May 27th, 2025. Thank you.
Questions or comments from council on either of these items?
So the first one, Meadowmere East, is already constructed.
That is correct. It was a code a compliance case, but yes, that is correct. That particular fence is in conformity with the HOA design standards and essentially fits in with other fences in the neighborhood.
There was some discussion about, I'm sorry, are you
No,
done?
Go ahead, I'm done.
Some discussion about this affecting like future fence questions in the area,
Yes.
but I didn't see that in the presentation, but I just, is this something we're going to have to keep solving over and over and over again because it is an HOA fence, or is this kind of a?
We have reached out. I've personally spoken with the HOA president. I have discussed the option of essentially having an en masse variance. It would have to be applied for by the HOA and paid for, and so they are considering it. They are aware it is an option. In this development, all of the fences are located on HOA property rather than individual unit owners' property. So that is a path that they can choose to move forward with, but it's ultimately up to the HOA if they wish to do so. But they have been informed by us.
But this item is just for that particular
Correct.
fence as shown, substantial conformity of the site plan shown.
Yes, that is correct. It
Okay.
is for one individual unit owner at the location of her address. So.
I just want to make one comment on our code and fence, the code around our fence as well. Some people feel it's overreach. Some people think it's too much for the city to do. You'd be surprised. When you go to the east side of the city, there's homes that we annexed in. They're made out of scrap metal. They're made out of not cargo containers, but what am I trying to say? Different pieces of wood that have been found. So when you don't have standards, you don't have code enforcement those standards, that's what you get. So it's important for us to have these standards, and that's why we enforce these standards as well.
I'm going to word this the way I was going to word it. What harm would it do if we wrote if we codified within our code of ordinances fences within subdivisions or that are on private roads with HOAs?
Vanessa, do you have any experience with that you want to speak to?
Well, we can certainly, I've done many code adjustments, not that one in particular. We can certainly look at that. I think the first thing to do would be to establish exactly how many properties would be affected. These would be properties in which, again, the fences are on communal property and not on a private individual owner's property. So I know I've had some one-on-one discussions, and I don't know how many there are at this time, but I think staff could research that and then determine the viability. Drafting code, I don't think would be overly complicated for that.
So I will note, because this came up a couple months ago, staff has started to look into it on the GIS side and try to collect the information to the extent that we can find the information and at least keep a list of what could preemptively be coming our way.
So the other portion that I had a discussion with Kristen about was maybe figuring out a way some of these fences that are, grandfathering is the wrong word, but it's just the rebuilding of a fence that was there and whatever, being a more of an administrative variance within certain parameters rather than have to go through that. And there's some discussion that can be had about that according to our city manager. Is that correct, Kristen? Did I say that right?
To the extent that we're not overdoing the legal non-conforming section of the code, but there are things that we can look into that staff could have administrative, if we amend the code, staff could have grant administrative variances for.
And the other part of it, I don't know if this is worth it or not, on the second fence request, corner lots. So I think corner lots are problematic for the people that own them, me included, but because that really keeps the person from putting a privacy fence on really what is a secondary side, private side of the house. So we could maybe nail down how we address that as well. I think right now, because our code say that basically anything that is within the line.
Yeah, the front yard and street side yard. So if the side yard is along a street, then the height requirement of 4 feet and the transparency is required. So if it's a rear yard fence, we don't regulate that same type of standard.
As an example, I'm not planning on asking for a tall fence, but 2/3 of my side yard is my backyard. And on the secondary side of my house, and my primary side is Longview, my secondary side is my secondary side is Admiral. So if I wanted privacy in my backyard, I'm stuck with a 4-foot fence and I can't do it, although certainly I could put up a hedge, I get it. However, it seems to me like, in relationship to the fact that it is my backyard or anybody else's, I think a 6-foot fence would be more fair. So I'm wondering if there's a way we can do that without overcomplicating everything.
I think simplifying processes is something we can easily do. The only thing that I would recommend is whatever instigated or prompted the code requirement. I'm not sure what those conditions were, but to think, recently we've been bringing these types of variance requests before you. I don't know what you were trying to prevent, and I think that would be worthy of integrating in the discussion, because we certainly, if we do amend code, we want to make sure we really are honing in onto your intention, and we can then have code that reflects that intention.
I think those code requirements predate any of us on council, so it probably does worthwhile looking at it and getting some new eyeballs on it to see what that meets today's, whatever it is. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, we know you have plenty of time. Got it. All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, this takes us down to mayor and council items. Looks like I'm the only one that has something on there this time. This is a request. As you know, the Ukrainian embassy has been using City Hall for several years to do passport and paperwork services. This last go-around, they had folks that drove as far as 10 hours to get here for this. They don't do this in any other state in the South, so they come to Georgia once or twice a year to try to get all of this knocked out. They are requesting to use the executive session room again for a weekend in October. So I would appreciate you guys allowing for that if you see fit.
Is it October or September?
It is October.
It changed since the agenda was published.
Questions?
This is the same as last time where, the issue was with having people cover, having staff there over the weekend. Is it the same as last time?
It's the same as last time, and I do believe that there is an event going on. I think it's third spot or something that's also.
There's a third spot at 12 p.m. on October 4th
Yeah.
of that day.
So there will be already staff in the building at least part of that time, so we'd have to figure out the other part. Questions? Concerns? All right. All right, that takes us down to public comments. The mayor is the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the city council as a body, not to individual members. Anyone wishing to speak shall come to the microphone, give their name and address to the city clerk. Limit remarks to 3 minutes unless further time is granted by council. Not speak a second time until everyone wishing to speak has spoken at least once, and no one can speak more than twice. Please do not speak unless you have the microphone and have been recognized. And with that, I'll open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to address council this evening? Anybody? Nothing? All right. Do we have have a executive session this evening. All right, thank you so much. We're out of here. 30 minutes.